So guys, we are back with another episode of my Basingstoke series. 3 months or so has passed since the last episode, which is a bit longer than usual, but that's because the game's been a bit more spaced out. So actually fitness hasn't been that much of an issue this little patch of games. Injuries, they're easing off. They're still a bit of an issue, but nowhere near as bad. As you can see by the finances down here, we're finally in the red. Hopefully, with a decent end to this season, we could get a decent amount of prize money. It might cover that, so not too worried about that at the minute. But we'll have to see how it goes about with that because it's not great. But like I said, we can work through it. Anyway, we're going straight into the fixtures here since the last game, which was the Staines game here. I'm pretty sure it was. As you can see, that for the most part, it's been pretty decent. The results are slowly tailing off, but we're still doing quite well. Next game, we beat Ebbsfleet 3-0 away from home, which was a fantastic result. Excuse me. Chris Flood, Jamal Branca and James Harper with the goals. We then had a rematch against Staines, and it was, well, just annoying. This was the game. They had 3 penalties. I've never seen 3 penalties in one game before. As you can see, Worsfold scored 2, and just before that, Josh Ekin missed one, which is really frustrating. And we had a guy sent off. Who was it? It was Jenkinson with about 5 minutes to go. But what can you do? So we moved on, and we did well. We beat Eastbourne 4-1. Richard Langley with 1, Jamal Branca with a hat-trick, which is good stuff. Followed that up with a 4-0 win over Gosport. Nathan Smart, Manny Williams and Fenyi Allen with 2. Kevin Kranz with an injury. Next up was a disappointing draw. Eastbourne were bottom at the time, and we had just beat them about 6 days before. We beat them comfortably, and this game we was comfortable. We was 2-0 up. They brought it back to 2-2. We scored again, and then with 5 minutes to go, our keeper scored an own goal, which was absolutely atrocious. And we got a knock to Liskov. But Harper, Williams, and Branca with the goals. Next up was a very boring game against Bath. I think the only goal was from a corner, which we don't actually score that many corners. I think we've only scored like 2, something like that. But David Ray with a goal, and Kevin Kranz on his game back got another knock. Next up, 2-0 defeat to Bournemouth. They are top of the league, so whilst I was frustrated, I could understand. James Harper with a knock and Jenkinson with an injury. We recovered though. We beat Maidenhead 2-0. Chris Flood and Lloyd Macklin with the goals. A fairly straightforward game. Then a boring 0-0 against St Albans. We haven't scored against St Albans this season, and we haven't beaten them as well. We lost at home 3-0, so they are a bit of a bogey team. So hopefully next season, if we're still in the division, we can rectify that. We then won 2-0 against Bishop Stortford. Jamal Branca and Afeni Allen. We did our usual trick of waiting until the last 20 minutes or so to actually kick into gear. And they had a guy sent off, which did help. We had 2 injuries, Robbie Rice and David Ray. Like I said, injuries aren't quite as bad, but they are still a factor. Next up, a very good recovery against Concord. We was 2-0 down at half-time. We did our usual trick, getting into gear in the last 20 minutes or so. Jamal Branca with a brace. And then against Chelmsford, it was just frustrating. We were second best throughout the game, there's no complaints. 3-2 probably flatters us a little bit, if anything. But 2 more injuries, Robbie Rice and Lloyd Macklin. But Branca and Williams got on the score sheet for us. In terms of the league, we're still hanging in there. We really are. There's still a chance we could win the league. There's 7 games to go. We're only 4 points behind Bournemouth, and both us and Bournemouth have a game in hand over everyone else in the playoffs. So it's actually looking quite likely that we will get the playoffs, at least. And up until probably the last 3 or 4 games, I've always thought we're not doing it. There's going to be a bad run of form, and looking at the results, we may be going through that now. We have only won 2 out of our last 6. So we may be going through that bad run of form now. We've got some tricky games coming up. Whitehawk and Wildstone. Wildstone have fallen down the table. They're not doing quite as well as I thought they were. They were around the playoffs not so long ago, but Whitehawk is just outside the playoffs. Who else we got? Hayes and Yedding, Farnborough, Sutton, Havant and Western Supermare. Okay. Oh, too far. So Sutton are down in the relegation zone. And Farnborough are not far above them. Weston-super-Mare, again, are down there as well. Havant are right up there, so that's going to be tricky. It was the other one. I don't know. But it's a mixed bag of games. We have either teams who are right up there or teams who are right down there. No real mid-table teams are left to face. So it's do or die for us now, because it's weird. I've never aimed to get in the playoffs this season. I've always said just probably 15th, 14th or above. Because this season, I've always said, is just maintaining a tactic. Well, not maintaining, on getting one and then maintaining it. And just finding the players that suit the tactic. And we're a bit ahead of schedule in that respect. So I'm actually really happy with how this season's gone. Hopefully next season can match that in terms of I overachieve. But we'll have to wait and see. In terms of transfers, I don't think much has happened. You saw me bring in Jamal Branco, who's been an inspired signing, if I do say so myself. Look at that. 10 starts, 12 goals, plus 5 appearances off the bench. He has been phenomenal. No penalties in that either. 2 assists and 3 man of the match. He is going to be a cracking player for us. Other than that, we signed in Marvin Ekpiteta not so long ago, just because we needed backup at centre-back. He hasn't played yet, but he's there, just provide an option. In terms of players out, there has been a fair few. We released Ryan Case just because he wasn't good enough. Alex Charlick for the exact same reason. Liam McDevitt again for the same reason. Louis Saws because he was becoming unhappy and he's already retired. Fair enough. Sean McCauley's also retired. Pat Cox because he got unhappy that he wasn't being played, even though he was in and around the first team, which is annoying. Jordan Palmer Samuels, I had hopes for him because he was quick, but he just didn't really create an impact. He was a bit of a cup specialist for a little while, but didn't really do anything else. Liam Enver Maroon, I thought he could be a decent player, but he was atrocious. And finally, Marcus Johnston Schuster said he wanted to leave, and I'm willing to let him go. I mean, his stats aren't terrible, but we have enough cover to get through the rest of the season. And all those players, they said they wanted to leave, and I wasn't going to stop them because we need to get rid of some of the wages anyway. If you can see, we're down to just over 1.5k a week over the budget, whereas before we was touching 3.5. So we have got rid of a fair bit of wages. So that's good. There's not really much else to cover in terms of that, so we're going to go into the game. I'm pretty sure I'm on the match day already. Indeed I am. It's Whitehawk. This could be tricky. As you can see, the last game I tried something a bit different because fitness was a little bit of an issue, and I just wanted to see if this would work. It didn't. Then we also looked pretty dangerous going forward. Like I said, it was literally counter-attacking football going forward. I wanted to try and keep the ball, so I kind of packed the midfield a little bit, putting 5 in there, but it didn't work. So the style we're going to do today, well, Liskov's back fit, so I'm going to go back to my 3 at the back style. Even though my players still aren't really used to it in terms of training. He's still only on yellow there, and he's not a green star either. It's a very light pale green. But in terms of familiarity, we are very good with it now. We are okay. There's no percentage. Usually, when you hover over bars like that, there's a percentage. Omar Karoma is another one who said he wants to leave it if I don't give him first team football. But the thing is, whenever I play him, he gets injured every time. I've promoted Luke Downs into the first team, and he's unhappy as well. So he might actually come into the subs bench today instead of Nathan Smart. We're going to have a very attacking bench because I want to go for the win today. And I do have players who can cover defensively who are ready on the pitch. I didn't mean to put Karoma on. I meant to put Kevin Kranz on. In there. There we go. We do have players who can cover defensively if we need to. Will that do? Yep, I think that's the team for today. Richard Langley is another one who said he wants to leave because I can't guarantee him first team football. So his contract ends at the end of the season anyway. So his contract will not be getting renewed. James Harper is another one. I want to sign him to a new deal, but whenever I go to, he says he's effectively saying he's too good for the club. So I'm like, you absolute prick. So it's like he'll be being moved on, which is a shame because he has been a quality player for us this season, as you can see. His form has tailed off in the last 4 or 5 games. His average rating was 7.2 not so long ago. But he has been a key player for us, and I'm hoping that I do get to time down to at least another year. Purely because he could be a captain as well. I think our captain right now is Gasson. I think it's him. He's done pretty well, but his technicals are so bad. His mentals are pretty decent, but I am looking to improve the defence in the summer. I think midfield's pretty strong. We might need to add 1 or 2 players here and there. Up front, we do have depth. Manny Williams can play there. Luke Downs, if he progresses this for the rest of the season, play there. Joel Branca is scoring goals for fun. We did have 1 or 2 others, but I have released them. But we do have cover because Chris Flood can play there and Kevin Kranz. So that's 4 or 5 players who can go up front. So strikers, I would say we're fine for now. Unless someone amazing becomes available, but the chance of that happening are really small. Anyway, straight into the game. Oh, I didn't check my instructions. I'll have to do that in a second. A win today could take us second, which is good, but we've got that game in hand anyway. Yeah, we'll do that. We are favourites, which is good, although that does put a bit of pressure on us. Go straight through instructions. I'm actually happy with that already. That suits this style pretty well. Start match. Let's see how we play today. I've got it on fast. I tend to do that sometimes. If I get frustrated, like I think the game's done, we're losing 3-0 with 10 minutes to go, I'll just whiz through the last 10 minutes. I did it in the last game. We missed 3-1 down with about 5 minutes. We actually got one back, as you saw, to make it 3-2. So I got interested for a little while. But then I realised it's the 92nd minute anyway, so I just sped it right back up. Because I lose patience very quickly if we're losing. And this game has been absolute bore-fest. Nothing's happened until now, and it's a highlight for them, and I've just dropped my mouse. That's not clever, and they're going to score. Offside? Yes, I just saw the linesman there with his flag up, which is a bit of a let-off. A draw isn't a bad result. What is my keeper doing? Just moonwalking into the net. That's clever. Yeah, a draw isn't a bad result. As Whitehawk, like I said, they're just outside the playoffs. I think they're something like 7 points behind of a game in hand. But yeah, it has been a poor performance. We haven't even had a highlight. They've had that one. Well, won't really count the offside. Hello. Ooh, you have to be careful there, Lacey. That was a dangerous tackle, but it was a good one. Again, nothing's happening. Although we have a highlight now. Come on, make the most of it. We are away from home, so we might not get that many chances. Oh, you absolute spoon! And he's through. They just lumped it forward, and that's a cracking tackle by Ray. And that's it. That is it. There is nothing happening in this game. Alright, okay, we're going to go direct passing. Oh, now we're losing. Okay. Okay. Like I said, I said earlier, because we have only won 2 of the last 6, this could be the bad form that I was mentioning. I really hope I'm wrong. I don't want to go out like this, not now. What we're going to do is that we are going to push him up, drop him back, do that. Deep line forward can go to Manny Williams. He is good in that role. He's done well before. So I'm hoping he will create space in between the midfield and defence, draw the defenders out a little bit so we can play it over the top to Branca. I think I've done that before on previous episodes, so I'm hoping it works again. Exploit the flanks because we do want to do that. Run at the defence, drop deeper because I don't like the fact that they've played it over the top a couple of times. I don't like the fact that they can do it to us but we can't do it to them. So let's hope these changes take effect on the game. Right, well, looks like we might have a highlight straight from kickoff. Unless they win it from us and it's their highlight, which would not be good. But here we go, Macklin down the wing. Gives it in the middle to Kranz. Playing it about nice. That's a cracking ball to Macklin. Whip a good ball in. He has, and there we go. Straight away. Branca as a poacher. 14th goal of the season and only his 11th start. This is brilliant stuff. Maybe I should stick with this 4 at the back, because it's with the 5 at the back. We tend to play better in the second half, but when I go 4 at the back, we just play better as soon as I do it. And what is the keeper doing? Oh my god. I have no idea what's just happened there. I want to see that again. It's literally, I've said to them to drop deeper. They play it back to the centre back. He launches it forward. The defenders just stand there. Then the keeper comes out and does exactly the same thing. He gets confused. Oh, if we lose because of that, I mean that. It's not even a keeping mistake because it wouldn't happen in real life. It's a glitch in the game. A keeper then would come out and just hoof it clear. And then if he just does a mistake then, like giving it straight to their attacker that way, then fair enough. But the fact that he just stood there and just wouldn't happen. Oh, that's frustrating. Keepers are a bit of an issue on this game, and there's a bit of lag there. Hello. Cross it in, cross it in. Oh my god, you absolute... Oh, I'm not even going to insult you, you don't deserve it. Oh my god. Alright, let's see what happens to this free kick, so otherwise I'm going to make some more changes. Branca, oh, he's there again. He is a goal machine. Okay, we're going to go back off overload to attacking. Okay, right, let's push for the win now. Come on. I think I've got a sub left, haven't I? Or have I? I don't, I've used them all. Okay, fair enough. Alright, don't let this slip now. Oh, I sound like Steven Gerrard there, aren't I? Oh dear. Come on, come on. Don't let it happen again. Oh, goal. Oh, he's missed. How has he missed that? He's 2 yards out. Alright, well, we got away with one here. Robbie Rice is looking knackered. It looks like a draw is how it's going to finish. Which is frustrating. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Please, no. No, no, no. Okay, he's handballed it. Fair enough. Okay, there we go. Not many highlights to show you in that game. It did liven up a bit for a 20-minute period in the second half. I'm not too disappointed with the draw. I'm disappointed with how it was a draw, in terms of my keeper just had a spaz attack or something. But if you'd given me a draw at the start of the game, I would have taken it. I'm going to put we're unlucky because we were. Everyone was... Well, there's no negative ones, which is good. We had more possession, but again, we didn't really do anything with it until the second half. To be fair, neither did they. But it just... Oh god, we've fallen down to 5th. Well, with that game in hand, we will go at least back up to 3rd. If we win by 3, we'll go up to 2nd, because we've scored more goals. But the defence is an issue. It was quite bad at the start of the season, then it tightened up, and now it's starting to leak goals again. We're still scoring, but when you're conceding just as many, it doesn't make a difference. We still have that gap between us and Concord, but they still have a game in hand, so they could close that to 3 points. Yep, 3 points. I had to do a bit of maths there. But it looks like it should be at least top 6, which in a way 6th place will be really disheartening. 1 place outside the playoffs. Anyway, we're going to leave it there. There's not anything else to cover. The next episode will be an end of season summary, as there's only 6 games to go. So yeah, hope you look forward to that, and I'll see you next time.